And now it's time for more of Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's talk hookup. This portion of the show is sponsored in part by Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup. Shimano Rods and Reels. Fish with the best. Shimano. And by Yamaha Outboards, official motor sponsor of Let's Talk Hookup. Here we go. Another great hour of Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's Talk Hookup. Here's Pete Gray, Rock Cod Rick Mexa, and Corey Sandin.
Welcome back. Hour number 2. Let's Talk Hookup coming your way in the Mightier 1090 ESPN Radio and that Let's Talk Hookup app. Having a great time here with the boys from Captain's Concepts. Captain Matt Bralla, the San Diego. Captain Gavin Harbour of the Pacific Queen. We are talking fishing, talking fun, and talking so much info. And that's the type of info you get with these guys from Captain's Concepts. It's been a very busy day. As you can imagine, the phone lines are absolutely packed, full, and we have a tremendous amount of text messages as well.
We got a whole another hour ahead of us,
right,
Rick, and I love this info, man. Learning some good stuff with the tungsten jigs and just the Bralla rig and everything going on. And you want to join the show? 213-432-1090. It's a way to do it on the phone, and you could text us via the app, and we're going to have Matt. Matt's going to have the honor of flipping the coin to see who wins the full-day trip on the San Diego out of Seaforth. We have to say the best landing.
Yeah.
By the way, right?
Yeah, second best. Second best.
Right,
yeah, second best for sure. You know,
no. First best, always, ever.
Nice. There is no
North
question
side.
Seaforth is the very best landing in Mission Bay. There's just no doubt about that.
I'll agree with that.
That's a fact. You know, that's a hard fact.
You guys continue to pay for parking.
There it is. Hey, you want to join the show and join the argument? 213-432-1090, or you can text us via the app. We're having a great time.
No doubt about it, man. Lots of great info, lots of great fun. I wanted to start off by reading this text message. There is 100 of these.
At least.
And there's, like, it's weeding through all the great accolades for the boys to find, the great info questions. But I just wanted to read this one because this is one of, like I said, like 100 that are the same. This is Gary from San Diego. I really wanted to thank Matt and Gavin for putting so much excellent information and content into Captain's Concepts. It's going to be a real game changer for me this year. I love the service. And that's from Gary. And
Thanks,
there's
Gary.
100 of those. You know, I mean, everybody that subscribes has the best thing to say about it. The one thing for a full hour of talking about it that we haven't mentioned is how do you subscribe? Like how, so okay, I'm in, twist my arm. There's really good info that you guys put out. How do we take advantage of it?
So the easiest way to find us is just Google Captain's Concepts. The first thing that pops up is our Patreon, and that's what our platform is. We go through Patreon. It's just ease of use for us and ease of use for the customer. And you sign up through Patreon. There's a few different options. You can sign up for the year. You can sign up for the month. And there's a new thing where you can sign up for free and just kind of get updates on the post. You don't get to see the post, but you get to see what we're posting about. Or follow us on Instagram. Instagram's a big thing for us where we post just like promotional stuff there.
And can we link up from the Instagram?
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
And like you said, the easiest thing to do, that's what I did, just literally Google the words Captain's Concepts. The first thing that pops up is the link to Patreon. Click on that, subscribe, you're done.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of people that aren't familiar with Patreon, it's kind of set up like Instagram, really. Like you can get an app for your phone, or you can do it on your laptop or computer as well. But it's very simple. It's just like an app on your phone. You scroll through it. You can search, keywords, and our videos will pop up that are about those things. You'll get like email notifications when we post something, and we usually have a video. Might be 10 minutes, it might be 25 minutes, and then there's a write-up below that on basically what we talk about in the video, and then comments down below there, which are sometimes questions from other people that are subscribers. It's set up very similar to Instagram. In a way of like our Patreons can talk to each other. You can ask questions on our videos. We answer them most of the time pretty quick, and it's a pretty good service.
And Patreon itself, it's just a platform for guys like you that deliver content to people, and it's very easy and very secure. Like you're not having to deal with the money end, the customer's not having to deal with anything that's different or new. It's a very easy platform for both parties to get to use.
Yeah, obviously the majority of our time is spent on the boat, so having a platform like this for us to make it easy to upload stuff, easy for the passengers to see it, easy for us to get notifications and all that. It's just it makes it easier for us so we could spend more time making videos versus trying to mess with a website of our own.
And it's well known, and it's safe, and it's secure, and your money's safe, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
and,
cool.
And what, and on top of all that and all the info, but being a passenger and being able to message Matt or message Gavin and have those answered back. I mean, there is no other platform like that.
Not that I know of.
Yeah,
right.
For our people to be able to message us and say, hey, I'm coming out next week. What should I bring? Or what should I not bring? Because a lot of people now, they have 20 fishing poles, and I could say, hey, you could leave a few of these at home, or hey, make sure you bring this, or hey, we've really been getting them on this lure. Make sure you grab a couple of these. It's been, rather than finding out in the middle of your trip, oh man, I wish I had some 130 grams of Cona jigs. I wish I would have known that 2 days ago. I would have bought a bunch of them.
The internet is such a blessing and a problem at the same time, that it's so easy to get info, but there is just no screening of that info, and anybody who wants to say anything can say anything at any time, and this is a source of just cutting everything out and getting the scoop from you guys, the guy that's behind the wheel, not somebody else's opinion of it.
Yeah. Another thing that's like me and Matt have both talked about is like the amount of stuff that I have learned from watching Matt's videos is incredible. Like the certain lures I fish now and certain ways that I do things. Like obviously Matt and I are friends, but we're very competitive, So but before this, like Matt may not want to tell me how he's catching more fish than I am, but now he's kind of forced to. So
that's great.
Or maybe he told you the right jig, but he didn't tell you the right way to rig it.
Yeah, exactly. So I've changed the way I fish and some knots I tie and stuff just from learning from Matt.
Yeah, same thing here.
Sam Patella and Brian were on here years and years ago, and they said it I think they summed up the best ever, and I loved it, and I talk about it all the time. Is Sam always said we want everybody in the fleet to catch fish, as long as we catch one more. That's how it is.
First, most, and biggest.
You guys might be the best of buds, but that doesn't mean you don't want to. That doesn't mean you don't want to have one more.
Yeah, I want Matt to catch a bunch of fish. I just want mine to be a little bigger.
Yeah, that's it. A couple bigger, couple more. That's all. Exactly. That's all I'm looking for.
Oh yeah, I get texts from him when they're catching them at night, and it's just like, oh, I'm at home right now.
Yeah, totally. Trying to get a little bit of sleep before I go do this again tomorrow.
Exactly.
That's cool. Well, as you can hear, we got a great show going on. So much great info, and again, like Corey said, if you want to join us, it's 213-432-1090. We've been talking a lot this morning about how good the cod fishing has been, especially with all this new ground. And we got Scott Sherman on the line, going to talk to us real quick about the bottom fish tournament for Southwestern Yacht Club, a huge event coming up real soon here. Good morning, Sherm.
Hey, morning, guys. Great show. I love the idea and the way these captains are putting this together. Can't wait to see all the information. Yeah, and you mentioned it was out yesterday. Good fishing for the bottom, exploring some new spots for the tournament coming up. May 11th, Southwestern Yacht Club bottom fishing tournament. It's a charity tournament. We raise money for charity, and this year's charity is Friends of Bralla. So it's a group we all know and we all support, and just encouraging people to get on board, sign up, and come down to the tournament. We start the day at 6:30 in the morning with a shotgun start, back by 3:30 for weigh-in. We take the day's catch and immediately make a bunch of fish tacos for the awards ceremony and the raffles. And I tell you, this year we've got a ton of stuff for raffles and auctions and those types of things. We've got trips to Mammoth, Black Bass Lodge down in Baja, rods, reels, everything you can possibly imagine. Even Phil's Barbecue stepped up with a catered dinner for 50 people. So it's a really, really good event for a really, really good cause, and I would encourage everybody to get on board and sign up.
This is the 54th annual. Tournaments don't stick around for 54 years that aren't fun and well run like this. And it's it's the most gathering, fun time, but still being a fishing tournament. There's a complimentary breakfast beforehand. There's cocktails afterwards. There's the dinner afterwards. There's tons of prizes. That is a really, really good time. Again, you said it's May the 11th, and how do we sign up for it if we want to get in, Sherm?
Best way to do it is go online to the Anglers website. It's SWYCanglers.org. You get on there, click on it, you can sign up, register, pay for everything right there online. And for something that a lot of people don't know, that with all the gear and swag that we have, if you can't fish the tournament, if you got something going that day, you can sign up for the dinner only come down and join the festivities after the tournament and join in all the fun and have a chance to walk home with a lot of good prizes. I mean, last year, in the raffle, I won a couple of rods and a reel that was way more value than what I actually put into the tournament and the raffle. So, I mean, it's a really good deal, and, of course, it benefits a program that we all love and enjoy, which is Captain Ralla's Kids at Sea, because at the end of the day, we all remember our first fishing trip as a kid and what got us hooked, and that's what we do. We get other kids hooked by doing the same thing.
That's awesome. Well, great job. Appreciate it very much. We're going to look forward to it. Give us one more update before we get there. But again, May the 11th, Southwestern Yacht Club, 54th Annual Bottom Fisherman. Scott, appreciate it very much. Thanks for keeping us in the loop. We'll look forward to talking to you real soon.
No, thanks for all your help, brother.
Thanks, bud. Appreciate that very much. Well, Corey, the phones are literally packed. Let's jump right into it.
They are. Let's get to Hills. Hills from Ventura. Appreciate you joining us this morning, Hills.
Looks like we might have lost Hills there. Why don't we grab one more?
How about Dan? Dan calling from West Covina. Good morning, Dan.
What's up, Dan?
Hey, good morning, guys. Thanks for having me on. Perfect show to have on today because I'm planning a trip on the Pacific Dawn next weekend, 2-day trip, and it's encouraging to see the bluefin count starting to pick up a little bit and more of the boats getting out there. Just wanted to ask Gavin and Matt, and maybe you guys too, are the boats targeting the bluefin in U.S. and Mexican waters? And the other part of it, are they going to start going to the Channel Islands like Catalina and Clemente? Because all these reports about foamers and stuff like Catalina Express seeing them and all that. So just curious to see what the game plan might be.
So my experience, this early season, we hear about this almost every year where some boat or boat sees foamers or jumping fish up the coast, and I've definitely, I would say, made the mistake of going up there this time of year. It can be tough, you know. A lot of times, those fish move around so much, and it's just really not sport boat friendly. A lot of times, like whatever fish you see jumping on the surface, that's it. Which fishing from a sport boat makes them kind of impossible to catch. So. As far as right now, the guys have been fishing down in Mexico along the coast. They were fishing out west for a little while where those bigger ones were caught, but those fish obviously vanished. But it sounds like the last couple of days they've got on a new area of fish. Sounds like 25 to 50 pounders, and I would probably expect to be going down there unless anything changes. Like I said, I've definitely made the mistake a few times early this time of year going up the coasts, going off of dope of a Catalina flyer or a Navy boat, seeing some fish jump around and then gone up there and never seen a fish all day, So that's a really sketchy maneuver. I'm not speaking for everybody, but for me, myself, I probably wouldn't do that. I would be going down the beach into Mexico where those guys have been seeing that size fish.
And we're fortunate, out of San Diego right here. I mean, we've got the Mexican waters, and 60 miles below us is much better than 60 miles straight out of Dana Point, right?
Yeah. And, we've where the fish are right now, I would say is like more what we would expect to see this time of year. And it can just change so much, man. Like with a few fish being caught right now, that really means nothing for next week. Like I remember last year, it was right around this time of year. Our first 2 trips, we caught no fish, and then our third trip, we caught limits, and it was limits after that every day, So that's just, I remind myself of that all the time, of how fast things can change, 2 trips in a row, no fish, third trip, limits, and then limits every day after that for a long time.
And I mean, we're living the early season roller coaster right now. A couple of weeks ago, it was tremendous, killer fishing, big ones, and then all of a sudden people are having woes. Oh man, like what are we gonna do? It's April. I mean, it's April. All the old stories of Bill Poole and fishing, like they used to not start fishing for tuna until 4th of July weekend. That's when it would start.
The last couple of years definitely an exception on early season good fishing. Even I remember. I'm young. In my time, I remember spending April, May going out there catching 5, 6, 2 fish a day, a couple yellowtail.
Sure.
Every 2 weeks, all of a sudden we get a day where we would catch them. We catch 40 or 50 fish. But this is more standard. This is
what we do.
Nothing wrong with it.
Totally.
And the thing with bluefin, that if we've learned anything, it's that how fast it can change is incredible. Like the guys are coming in today with a few fish. If I woke up tomorrow morning and saw that the Polaris Supreme had limits of bluefin, I wouldn't even surprise me.
Yeah.
It's just it can change so much this time of year so fast that you just have to go fishing. The best thing for fishing right now is to continue to go fishing, because that's how our fleet is going to be able to get on fish, stay on fish. as if boats are out and boats are trying, And hey, man, if you're on that first trip that catches a bunch, and it more than likely the boat's only going to be half full, and you're going to have, lots of room at the rail, and you get on good fishing. I mean, that's excellent.
Early season trips are fun too. You nailed it. The boat's not always full. You're going to ride 4 or 5 times with Gavin and his crew or Bralla and his crew, and you become more buds with the guys, and you know everybody well, and it's just a family atmosphere when you're on the boat later on in the season, and you're in practice too. When you have to angle for your first couple of fish, like when they're biting, you're in practice and you're in game, and you're not trying to knock the dust off, of a rusty old season of fishing, on your first opportunity. There's a lot to be said about going right now.
Yeah, for sure. You just have to go. When you're fishing bluefin, you just got to go.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it for sure. Well, hey, with that said, we're going to find out what's going on the water. It's time for your saltwater guide, Captain Dave Hansen.
That's brought to us by Fisherman's Processing in San Diego. Get your premier processing experience. Check out the new and easier online system to book your processing for your long-range trips. Now with the addition of the new team members, Fisherman's Processing stays far ahead of the rest, more same-day capacity, and the finest customer service. Stop by the location in Old Town on Taylor Street, or you can check them out at fishermansprocessing.com. And please make sure you make your reservation today. As you're making your reservation on your long trips or your day and a half, 2 days, whatever you got going on, make sure you make your reservations as your for Fisherman's Processing at the same time.
It's going to pack up for sure. We got him on the line. Dave Hansen. What's up, Dave?
Hey, good morning, Matt, Gavin, Rick, and Corey. How are you guys today? Thanks for having me on the show. Hey, we got some historic halibut fishing going on up in Long Beach right now and over at Catalina. It's insane right now. The halibut fishing is so good now that we have a little bit of weather and we're not drifting super fast. Very, very good halibut fishing. We'll jump over to Catalina real quick. A couple of the squid boats went out Thursday night and Friday night. Covered Catalina and Clemente. They can't find any squid at all. They're just not seeing it. It doesn't mean it's not going to show back up again, but no bait right now for the squid boats. The guys that are looking for squid, they're not finding it. But if they find or they scratch a little bit, there's some sea bass to catch at Catalina. There's some yellows to catch. And then the fallback is that halibut fishing on the beaches, and it's shallow, like Gundy was saying. That stuff's in shallow. It's where he's talking about on the beaches, where we're talking about we're fishing the beaches on the backside of Catalina, anywhere from 15 to 35 feet of water. When you get inside that 15, that's where you're getting most of your bites. And the key is, once you start to find the fish, don't leave fish to go look for fish. And then Gavin summed it up perfect. The best time to go is now. You want to get out there, you want to go fishing now. You want to be the guys that they're reading about. You want to be on the Queen or on the San Diego when they get into those fish. You don't want to be sitting at home going, yep, I should have gone today.
That's it, man.
Right?
Yeah, be on the forefront, not on the back of it. And certainly some good info. And we got good weather coming our way too. There's no reason not to be going. And man, good halibut fishing. There's going to be bait around. There's going to be good fishing around. And Dave, if somebody wants to keep up with everything that's going on, how do we find you?
Your saltwater guide. It might be hard to not see me unless you block me, because I'm on everything.
Everywhere it can be seen, it is. Well, I appreciate that as always. And if you want to save $30 off of a new membership to fishdope.com, you can do that using the code Hookup now. All lowercase, no space, saves you $30. Dave, as always, a great report. Glad to hear that things are starting to fall back in line in the right direction. And man, you said it best. It's time to go fishing.
Absolutely, and like Kelly Girl said, there's never a bad time to get information, so jump in on Captain's Concept. There's no reason. I've never been out fishing and go, God, I wish I didn't have all this info. All right, gang, have a great day.
About it. Appreciate it very much. Thanks a lot for that.
Oh, that's good stuff, and it's brought to us by Dana Landing. Dana Landing in Mission Bay will have their annual summer kickoff sale. Dates Saturday, May the 4th. A huge discounts on everything in the store. Some tackle is even 50% off. There will be several manufacturer representatives available. Some amazing seminars. Myself, Benny Florentino, Afrin from Warbaits, Fastlane will have their free kayak demos and products on sale. It all starts at 7 a.m. with a live kickoff with a radio show. Rick and Pete will be doing that. And it's Saturday, May 4th, only at Dana Landing, across from SeaWorld in Mission Bay. Check danalanding.com. And Steve and Johnny, the boys there, do a really good job.
They put on a really good event.
Dude, the parking lot is over full with representatives and good sale items. And
it's a really fun time.
I
can't wait every year. It's a really good one. Great seminars, great deals on tackle.
Yeah,
that's a not miss sale for sure.
And a seminar doing that with Benny and with Afrin. It's such a cool inshore. I've done it more than a handful of times. It's by far like the funnest one ever.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's
a lot of fun. Come down Saturday, May 4th.
Well, we can't wait. Well, hey, let's jump back into the text. It says, good morning, guys. I know Captain's Concepts is always trying to stay ahead of new techniques and methods for offshore fishing. I was curious if either Matt or Gavin know about or fish any of the Japanese micro jigs fished with a sinker for targeting finicky tuna. That's from Mike in San Juan Capistrano.
Talk about ebbing rig, possibly?
I don't know. Micro jig with a sinker?
It might be like an ebbing rig, possibly, what I'm thinking about. I've seen the ebbing rig on the boat a few times. I haven't really tried it that much. But
I've used it.
I'm going to try it.
Fish.
I'm going to try it this year for sure.
What's it called?
Ebbing
rig.
Yeah.
So it's like a wire that you tie to your line.
Okay.
That you put a vertical jig on the wire.
With no hooks.
No hooks on that. And then you have like a 10 to 15 foot leader to a circle hook with like shrimp style.
Like a little tiny plastic like 1 or 2 inch grub.
Wow.
It's got to be what he's talking about.
Yeah. Will you catch yellowfin or bluefin on it?
I haven't caught any bluefin on it.
Yeah.
But I've caught yellowfin on it.
Okay.
I remember.
How crazy.
I was probably 16 years old. I was working on the Sea Venture 80, and a guy had, so this is like 10 years ago, 12 years ago, this guy had this tied on. And I was like, hey man, I think you should. And he cut me off, and he's like, don't worry about me. I was like, whoa, okay.
Okay.
And I don't remember the exact numbers, but we didn't catch very many fish, and he caught half of them.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah.
That your first description sounds like the classic. Sir, I think we need to fix you up. Let's just get you a hook and a live sardine here.
This man has heard that spiel before. He cut me off right. Don't worry about me.
It's super interesting. I've seen it work when it's been tough.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it work. Granted, I haven't fished it when it's been good.
Sure.
But when the fish have not been biting, or there's fish around the boat, that's when we catch them on it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is like the most important time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, totally.
But the only thing that I've only seen and heard yellowfin tuna caught on it.
Okay.
I've heard of bluefin.
Okay. Yeah. I haven't heard of bluefin.
So is the whole idea that the jig attracts them and then they eat the fly?
I think the jig.
It's like the teaser almost.
It's like the teaser, or if it flashes, or maybe when it flutters, it works the little.
Yeah, right.
Your little shrimp thing or whatever. But I'm going to try it this year,
totally.
100%. Yeah.
There again is yet the other reason for Captain's Concepts. Obviously, you guys are both heard of it, aware of it, you even caught fish with it. But this is a technique employed by other people on your boat that you've made notice and seen. Like you guys are the best at what you do, but it's not just you guys. It's all the other stuff that comes on the boat, good, bad, and indifferent.
No, that ebbing rig. I watched a guy who always fishes all kinds of weird stuff, and he was catching them when I was catching them on a popper, and nobody else was catching them on the boat. It was like we had caught yellowfin, they were biting bait, and then they stopped. And that's usually when you catch them on the popper. And I was the only one getting bites, and then I turn around and, this guy's hooked up. What is he fishing? And he winds up a jig with a wire attached, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it's a funky looking setup.
That's cool, man. I dig it.
The other thing that's cool about us is like being on the boats all the time is like, if you're going on your day and a half trip, like you don't really, and that's your one trip of the month or the year, you don't want to spend time fishing funky looking stuff, you know what I mean? But like we have so much time with the rod in our hands, like I'll dedicate a day to trying something funky.
Totally.
And every now and then, like it might be something that like works really, really well.
Yeah. I have all kinds of stuff that I am trying out.
So let me ask you, there's got to be people listening that are like, what the heck is this ebbing rig? Is this something that you could actually put together and do a little video on? That people might want to even...
It's tough to research. I have some stuff on it. Well, usually I don't really try to put out stuff unless I know the right way to do it.
Right.
Totally.
But I mean, in this case, it might be something beneficial for the listeners.
And this might be one of those scenarios where they message you and like, hey man, I heard you guys talking about it. Can you tell me a little bit? Like you say, it might not be right to put the video out because it's not right for everybody yet, and maybe it will be as you get it refined.
I don't think I'm doing it right yet.
But it's certainly something that you could share the little bit of info that you have to help point a guy in the right direction via the message channel on your on your site.
I'm going to try it for sure this year. I'm going to spend some time. I think
I have a couple rigs already, and I have other stuff that I'm.
Yeah, there's a few things for sure that when the fish are acting a certain type of way we're going to be trying this year for sure.
Man,
there you go.
Great information. In fact, we're going to be right back. You're listening to Southern California Sport Fishing Voice. Going to come back, take your calls when we return on Let's Talk Hookup, the Mightier 1090 ESPN Radio.
This is Pete, and I hear it all the time. That Jim and Mary at Poway Valley Collision are amazing. I took my car to Poway Valley Collision, mentioned Let's Talk Hookup, and they gave us VIP treatment, fixed our car, and even gave us a special price. Believe me when I say Poway Valley Collision is worth the drive from anywhere in the Southland. At some point, your car will need a body repair, and I'm confident in saying it pays to go to Poway Valley Collision. Our listeners can save hundreds of dollars on your next car or truck repair. They work with most insurance companies, including Auto Club, MetLife, Wawanesa, and more. All you do is call Jim, Mary, or any of their team members, and they do all the rest. No hassles, just top-notch work and VIP treatment. When you take your car or truck to Poway Valley Collision, the job and experience will be top-notch. Get it fixed right at Poway Valley Collision, 14211 Garden Road in Poway. Check PowayValleyCollision.com.
Safe travel should always include travel insurance. This is Bob Dawson at Dawson & Associates. We offer many different plans, from one-year plans to single-trip plans. Traveling twice or more a year, an annual plan will cover most every trip that you make. Also, if you get injured on a trip, it'll fly you back home or fly you to a hospital of your choice, and it's worldwide coverage once you're 100 miles from home. So call me at 619-990-3068 or go to safariglobaltravel.com.
For quality, the Islander out of Fisherman's Landing is a favorite among anglers. But Islander Charters is much more than great fishing. The quality of the captains and crew, as well as the great meals and service, speak for themselves. Comfortable staterooms, a super clean and well taken care of boat are just a few of the reasons the Islander is so popular. The Islander specializes in 1.5 to 5 day fishing. Experience the Islander difference. Visit IslanderSportFishing.com.
Hey, this is Rosie with Cedros Sport Fishing. We have always been the leader with all-inclusive fishing trips to Cedros Island. We now have 2 lodges to choose from, and both sit on the cliff's edge with relaxing ocean views and gorgeous morning sunrises. With direct flights departing to the CBX in San Diego, we are committed to providing first-class service to our guests and an unforgettable fishing experience. Come check out the yellowtail and calico bass capital in the world. Nobody does it better than Cedros Sport Fishing. Call me at 619-772-7570 or check us out at CedrosSportFishing.com. Book soon. Trips are going fast.
All right, welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Man, having so much fun with these two in studio.
They just cost you, the subscription service is so little. The problem is you get handed so much good info that's the part that costs you the money is new rigs and, staying on top of it. It's good, man. It's really, really good. You guys came up with such a great idea. I think it's awesome. I'm hoping that it's as successful as it should be because it's really good.
Like they mentioned earlier, I mean, you could be a sport boat dude, but if you're a skiff guy and don't have it, you're missing out.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, for sure.
Like, why does the San Diego have 80 fish for the day, and why does the Pacific Queen have
81?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Something's wrong.
Right. And you're a skiff guy, and you've got 2 in the boat. What the heck happened? What are they doing? I want to know.
That's it.
So Captain's Concepts.
You get to find out.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool. Well, the phones are seriously packed, full. One line open if you want it. 213-432-1090. Let's jump in, Corey.
Let's do it. And I think we got him back. Hills from Ventura, you there?
Yes, yeah. Thank you. Hey, Matt and Gavin, it's so informative. And my biggest question lately has been how to rig hooks on knife jigs and stuff. And my question now is for the Eddie Bomb. My local tackle shop made me one, and then I took the giant treble hook off the bottom and left the rope assist hooks on the top. And now I'm not really sure. How do you guys rig hooks on the Eddie bomb? And also deep fishing on the
Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say I fish them with just the 2 hooks on the top, like you said. No treble hook. I think I've seen a lot of fish caught on the treble hook, but I've definitely seen a lot more fish lost on a treble hook. I try and avoid treble hooks just about as much as possible when I'm tuna fishing, especially with heavy line or bigger fish. I've seen countless times where I've had a guy have a fish up to literally we're about to gaff it its last couple circles, and it just rolls its head a certain way, and the treble hook comes off. So I'd take the treble hooks off for sure. Just the 2 assist hooks on the top of the Eddie bomb, that's exactly how I rig it, exactly how you were talking about.
Bralla, one thing we haven't talked much about is you have a jig company that makes lures, yo-yo jigs and surface jigs, and also that style, that Eddie bomb, sinker bomb, tuna bomb, Midnight Rider style of lure. Like, what is the one that you guys produce? And same deal, what's your preferred rigging, and then how do you fish with it?
So obviously I don't fish much at night, but we made the Midnight Rider because I can't tie on a sinker and fish with it. It's not fishy at all. So we decided to make something that similar. It's a lead, basically a sinker, but it falls a little different. It's shaped like a fish.
Definitely shaped a little different.
It's shaped like a fish, more has eyes on it. It just looks fishier. For me, if I'm not confident what I have tied on, I struggle to fish with it. Like, I have lures that I've caught a lot of fish on, and I see it in the water, and it just looks not fishy, and I cut it off. But as far as rigging goes, I'm with Gavin there. I rig my assist on those sinker-style jigs, on like that style of lure. I have my hooks on the top, 2 assist hooks, and that's it.
I know I got a WhatsApp from my boat partner Neil, who's on the Shogun on a 3-day trip right now, who wanted me to tell Brandon how upset he was because he went on that trip, and it was tough fishing, as we all know, but they had 5 bites the first night, and 3 of them were on one of your 2-fish jigs, Midnight Rider, and he wanted me to let Brandon know how pissed he was that Brandon didn't tell him that he needed to have that before they went on this trip.
Well, tell Neil to subscribe.
That a third of the bites were on your jig.
That's cool.
Yeah, but that's cool. Now, what else? You guys obviously make that sinker bomb, but the roots for your 2-fish jigs are in surface iron.
Yeah, surface iron. So we have a passenger who fishes with us named Bodan, and that guy is crazy about fishing a surface iron. We'll be fishing rock cod in the middle of 400 feet of water. He's still casting, and he just loves casting, loves fishing the surface iron, and like he lives or dies by it. And he had this lure tied on. I'm like, what is that? And he's like, oh, I made this. I'm like, whoa, what, you're making lures now? And we had a discussion, so we started making our own jigs, and it took some trial and error and stuff, and we're still working on stuff and trying to get stuff dialed, but he's gotten very good at shaping a lure, and he's making these things in his driveway at his house. And have you been over there?
I haven't been over there.
But we call it the lab, and we have the boys over, and we're pouring aluminum jigs and doing all kinds of stuff in his driveway.
But it's sand casting, right?
Exactly, in a very traditional way, like the
so
way that
he's casting jigs. We've developed a way where we're not sand casting, we're not using sand anymore, but it's a cast jig where he has to hand sand it and hand do everything to it. But we also have CNC jigs, another offering. If you guys like CNC jigs, it's a lure that are to my specs, what I like to fish. And everyone likes a different jig. A lot of guys like a fast winding jig and jigs that go crazy and big 4-foot breaks and stuff like that. And for me, like it's cool watching a jig break 4 feet, but for me, I want a lure that gets bites when it's tough. And that's what I base my lure off of.
That's cool. I was on a trip last year, to Cedros Island, and the gentleman was fishing one of those.
Yeah.
Dude, he was getting the yellows. And not just 12, 15 pounders. He had the 20 to 30 pounder when we only had 2 fish.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Well, there was a time at the Coronado Islands, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, where there was 3 of us fishing the San Diego, Liberty, and the Grande. And we weren't catching very much. We were all fishing the same 2 or 3 schools. And there was like a week stretch where each boat caught 5 to 9 fish in a day. and more than half of them were on a 2-fish jigs every
crazy.
time.
Well, now that you got me all
on
fired
all
up.
3 boats.
Now that you got me all fired up, where can we get one?
Fisherman's Landing has them and Seaforth Landing has them.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 spots.
Yep.
That's it.
Done.
One thing that's pretty cool that like Matt was asking if I've been over there, but I haven't got the pleasure of doing it, but I've like seen these guys send me videos. It's like, Matt, you have a Nebel from the Liberty over there, making lures. You have Alec from the Grande or now Pegasus making lures. You have Renee from the Shogun. You have like all like the guys that are actually over there like, hey, I think we should do this. I think we should do that.
Input.
Yeah, guys that have, casted a surface iron as much as anybody ever. You got those guys, messing with the lure. That's pretty cool.
It's really cool. And it's just cool that like it's being made in the old-fashioned way, like corners get cut as time and technology increases, but like those are,
the only reason we're making lures now is because they're not making them like they used to.
That's cool.
It's just I have a tough time putting on old lures that I have that I can't replace.
Yeah.
Like I have a wall of jigs. Gavin's been over to my house. I have a tackle room, and there's a wall of basically straight surface iron in there. It looks like Fisherman's Landing.
That's cool.
And there's lures in there that I love to fish, but I don't tie them on the boat because it's.
You're afraid.
I'm never going to get them back.
Yeah.
Sea lions.
Can't let a sea lion take that thing from you.
No, that's not going to happen.
And I have to say that the whole Tatty way of doing it, the original Tatty 45 that was born and bred right here in Southern California, that's what you're going back to. The roots of the way those were made.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I give my lure to a Nebel. I give a lure to Alec. I'm like, what do you think of this? And they're like, oh, this is right. Or I've given my lures
even
to
better.
Danny Wade has had my lures. He's like, yeah, you got something here.
That's cool.
So
that's awesome.
It's cool.
Well, that's cool. We'll keep it rolling, man. We like to see it. Hey, had a great text coming through. Speaking of lures, and this says, can you guys speak about jig selection? I found that the style of jigs that are such as the shorter, stubbier, or longer jigs have better outcome for either daytime. Have you found that shorter, stubbier, or longer jigs have better outcome for daytime versus nighttime? I've also heard of some people making their own jigs out of rebar. Bluefin, do you have any success with any modified piece of rebar at nighttime fishing? How important is changing the hooks out from stock jigs and so on? That's all from Dan and Pomona. It's kind of all things jig fishing.
Yeah, right? So this is a big topic. We talk about lure fishing a lot, and I think there's no specific lure to fish. It all depends on the size of the fish, the way the fish are acting. A lot of it is size of your lure is just really going to depend on like how fast is the boat drifting, how deep are the fish. Preferably I want to fish a smaller lure anytime that I can. But if, a lot of times, as everybody knows, we're out there, it's blowing 15, 18 knots, there's a lot of current, and a smaller lure is not going to work. So I could talk about this for an hour. Right. Obviously we don't have that much time, but it really depends on the style of fishing. I would say the short, stubby, like Eddie Baum style lures work the best when the fish are very deep. Bigger fish, a lot of times, certain times of the year, we'll see that fish 60 to 80 fathoms. You're having to get that thing down there 500 feet. And also those style lures are important when the boat's drifting very fast. If it's windy, if it's choppy, having that heavy, smaller profile lure is going to get you down there faster without your lure getting scoped out away from the boat, which is like the worst possible way, But there's definitely a time for smaller, longer profile lures that have a lot more action. We do get times, like I was talking about earlier, where we stop the boat and the whole school is stuck to the boat, but they're not biting. It's like plunker style fishing at night. We've seen that. And that's when the more finesse lures that fall a certain way or that have more action, than a sinker, when they're fluttering, when they're sinking, when you could work them on the retrieve and the lure darts around. There's definitely a time and place for that.
Like the whole tungsten thing.
Yeah, exactly. There's definitely no one size fits all. You need a little bit of everything. And I think the most important thing for me when I'm fishing lures isn't a brand or anything. It's just going to be flat out the size of the lure.
Mm-hmm.
If I know the weather's going to be real nice and the boat's not going to drift fast, I'm going to tie on a 200-gram lure. If I know it's going to be windy or choppy, or I know that the guys out on the grounds are seeing the fish, 60, 80 fathoms, I might tie on a 16-ounce sinker.
Mm-hmm.
So it just really depends on conditions.
And that's the reason you guys have so many videos covering that, because it's not one-sided.
Exactly. And one thing we also do a lot is we don't just say, we're getting bites on sinkers, you should use sinkers. We're saying, hey, we want our people to read the conditions, like, oh man, it's pretty breezy out here. The fish are a little bigger. They're probably going to be deeper. I remember these guys were talking about this. I'm reading the conditions. The boat's going to be drifting. I need to tie this lure on, Or hey, if I come on and say, hey, it's windy, it's choppy, we're using these big lures. You go out next week, the weather's flat, grease, calm.
Right.
Just because I said that last week that we were catching them on the big heavy sinkers, now you're like, hey, I remember they were talking about the weather's nice, the boat's not drifting. I'm going to tie on something a little bit smaller.
You're not an advertisement trying to push one thing. You're teaching us all how to do do it better.
Yeah, and decision making,
reading conditions, and making decisions.
Exactly, and reading the fish, or like daytime fishing. Like, hey, a lot of lures we talk about, like, hey, the fish are high in the water column, they're boiling, but guys aren't getting bites on fly line live bait. They're like, ooh, I remember, Matt was talking about when he saw this, the fish were boiling, the fish were 60 pounders. I remember he said to tie on a 6X Junior on my 60-pound rod.
Started smashing.
Yeah, and started getting them.
Totally.
So reading the conditions is something that we're really trying to teach our people. Is not just like, this is how we caught them. This is why I tied this lure on, because the fish were acting like this, the weather was like this, the fish were this size. I remember those guys were talking about when this happened. Bam! I grabbed this lure out of my tackle box. I grabbed this rod and start catching them.
Yeah. Another thing on weather conditions, not just weather conditions, is watching what the other people on the boat are doing. Mm-hmm. Like, you watch a guy catch a fish and his fish hits the deck, you should be looking at what lure is in that fish's mouth. Ask that guy, oh, how'd you get a bite? Was it on the retrieve? Was it on the fall? And you could adjust your lures from there, or adjust your presentation from there.
That's good, right?
All right.
That's it, man.
Good info.
Subscribe. It's worth it. It's really worth it.
Especially the springtime. The springtime is like, seems to us like that's when the fish are biting lures.
Oh, yeah. And it changes with the weather and by the hour.
Yeah, so being able to read the conditions and knowing what lure to tie on and how to fish that lure is important. That's probably the most important thing. It's not necessarily like, you can give two guys the same lure, but if this guy has the right size rod, the right size spectra, he's got the right hooks on it, he knows how to fish that lure. Sure. This guy's going to catch 10, and the guy that has, maybe the wrong spectra, the wrong approach at it, he might not get a bite.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's great. So good. Hey, let's roll in with another great text here. It says, good morning, guys. I have all the gear needed for the different grades of tuna fishing. What's next on my list is picking up a high-speed jigging outfit. What do you guys think about the effectiveness of this new tackle? Is it worth the investment? How does it differ from daytime or nighttime? And have you experienced any big fish on these lighter jigging rods and reels? That's all from Jeff in Huntington.
100% worth the investment.
Yeah, you need it for sure.
100%. If you're serious about catching a bluefin, especially in the daytime, you should have a jigging rod. And as far as what rod and reel, for myself and Gavin, we kind of agree on, if you're just going to get one, they're rated PE. That's the braid rating. A PE 4 to 8 is probably the best all around.
Yeah, I would say a big mistake that I see people, they grab one, they buy one of them, and they buy like the heaviest one.
Like, I'm going to catch a 200-pounder.
Yeah. Like a 6 to 10 outfit, which is just it's not as effective at working the lure as a 4 to 8. Like, we have all of them.
Sure.
But if I were to buy one,
too many.
And the one that's in my hand the most is definitely a 4 to 8 rated rod. And we've caught, 200-something pounders on it.
Yeah. Yeah, if I don't know what I'm stopping on, if I know it's mixed fish, I'm grabbing my 4 to 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then to answer Jeff's question, he's going to make the investment. Does that mean buy the rod and the reel? Does that mean buy the rod and adapt a reel that he already has to it? Or to do it right, does it really need to be the whole system?
I would suggest buying a specific reel. And that really depends on your budget. Because you can spend a lot of money on a jigging reel, specific jigging reel, and they range from anywhere from $400 all the way up to $1,000. And if you can afford the $1,000 reel, it's nice. But we fish everything. I have all kinds of stuff. But if you're on a budget, you could fish like a Fathom 40. The middle of the run is like that OSHA jigger, which I really like. And then a lot of guys fish those Maxells and Jigging Masters, and those are excellent reels as well.
And that's kind of the lower, medium, high end of those reels.
Exactly.
Yeah, like if you're on a budget, a Fathom 40, there's a couple different guys I think that make those longer, upgraded jigging handles. But like the first year that I did this, I fished a Fathom 40 stock handle with not a jigging rod. Your lure's not going to fish
hundreds of fish on a CalStar 800 XX with a Fathom 40 with a knife jig on it.
The thing about if you don't have the nice reel and the nice rod, you will be fatigued immediately.
You said the biggest difference was on the angler, like just physically fishing.
Oh yeah, you drop it down twice and you're like sweating. Where if you have the nice tackle, you can fish it for a lot longer and not get tired.
Effortless.
Yeah. We have guys that come on my boat that don't bring a hook. They just use they have jigging rods, and doesn't matter what we're fishing for, they fish that the entire trip.
I'll tell you what's funny is in a year and a little bit of change, maybe a year and a half almost, of having these guys on the show, like that question has been asked by lots of people, and the answer has gone from it's probably something that you should consider to this time both of you two without even taking a breath. That's something you have to have. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you can get it, I would get it.
Clearly that technique has been refined, and you guys have seen so much success that it went from, oh yeah, you should probably think about adding that to your arsenal, to like, oh yeah, if you're serious about it, you have to have that piece of gear.
And now I use it a lot for smaller grade fish. When we first started doing it, it was mainly like 60 and larger, and now I've caught a lot of fish in like that 15 to 40 pound range on smaller jigs with lighter rods.
What about the islands? I mean, so tuna fishing, yes, but what about like yellows?
That's one thing I haven't cracked the code on yet. I don't think it's better than a yo-yo jig.
Okay.
Yeah, I've caught them on it.
Yeah.
But it's been when they're biting really good, and I haven't really tried it too much when it's been tough, but I have some lures set aside for this year.
What's going to get bitter on a yellow? A tungsten knife jig or a brass monkey?
The brass monkey's lethal, so it's hard to beat that.
That's one of your yo-yo jigs?
Yes, exactly. A smaller, compact brass jig that sinks really fast, and that thing's going to be tight on my rod a lot.
There you go. Well, certainly some really good ones. Why don't we try to sneak in one more caller, Corey?
That sounds great, Rick. How about Jim Cohn from National City? Good morning, Jim.
Hey, good morning, guys. I'm going to get away from the concept a little bit, but my question is for both skippers, Matt and Gavin. On the San Diego and the Queen, you guys still have all the same deckhands? And what should anything new for the San Diego or the Queen? Anything that maybe your customers should hear about?
Yeah, because you guys both went through some major off-season renovations to the boat. There's some new exciting stuff on both your rigs.
Yeah, so Matt and I kind of did similar projects on our boats this year, actually. On the Queen, we did probably the biggest project I think I've done since I've been on there for like 10 years, and we replaced the bait tank. It's like the original bait tank that was on there for 60 years or something, but we put a brand new bait tank on the boat. The two big projects we did was the bait tank, and then we removed a couple fuel tanks and added two fish holds / slammers, which is going to make a huge difference on our trips. We basically, I think we have now doubled our fish capacity.
Crazy.
And doubled our bait capacity as well. So we're going to hold an enormous amount of fish. We have had issues in the past of not being able to hold enough fish when they're really big, on the Queen, because the boat was not really built for catching 200-pound fish. But now we'll be able to hold plenty enough fish, and doubling our bait capacity is going to be super nice for those 3-day trips. So those are the two big things going to be the most noticeable. On top of that, we did an enormous amount of everything that goes along with that, which is pumps and plumbing and woodwork and painting and a lot of stuff too that might not be as noticeable. I think Matt did the same, replaced.
Yeah, we have below the waterline, above the waterline, we have all kinds of stuff that's passengers are going to enjoy for safety. And as far as crew goes, we got most of our guys coming back. I think we lost one guy, but almost everybody's coming back, and yeah, we're excited. We're ready to fish.
Ready to roll.
All fired up. We're going to be right back. We're going to find out who's won this full-day trip on the San Diego when we return on the Let's Talk Hookup app to Mightier 1090 ESPN Radio.
Everyone has their go-to fishing spot. My spot is Kingfisher Charters in Sitka, Alaska. Rock Cod Rick here to say if you're looking for the ultimate Alaska experience and the best value in Alaska, it's Kingfisher Charters. Owner Seth Bone and his crew consistently deliver deluxe accommodations, the finest food, world-class fish processing, and top-of-the-line fishing experience. We've literally sent hundreds of our listeners to Kingfisher, and they all can't wait to go back. Most Alaska resorts make big promises, and they don't deliver, or they'll nickel and dime you to drive up the cost, but not Kingfisher. Everything is included. Your license, fish processing, super deluxe accommodations, amazing food, airport transfers, your gear. Literally all you need to bring is your layer clothing, and Kingfisher covers the rest. They also have the finest boats and charter charter captains in Sitka, all for the ultimate value. Take it from me. Book your trip to Kingfisher Charters and you'll thank me. Kingfisher Charters, 800-727-6136 or check kingfishercharters.com.
It's time to go fishing. Hi, this is Doug Kern from Fisherman's Landing Tackle, the saltwater tackle professionals. The perfect rod to handle the toughest fish is Shimano Terramar. The secret? TC4 blank construction with Tech Tape outer wrap to shield the fibers from the impact damage. Make sure to match your Shimano Terramar rod with a Shimano Tranx 500. X-Ship and HEG technologies combine to provide the Shimano Tranx massive cranking power with a smooth and effortless retrieve. For all your Shimano needs, visit us at Fisherman's Landing Tackle at Fisherman's Landing in San Diego.
This is Captain Tim Ekstrom from the long-range vessel Royal Star. With my partners Randy Toussaint and Brian Sims, we have set the bar for the long-range fishing experience. Spring 8-day, summer 5-day, or a fly-down, fly-back 11-day winter trip, we deliver the highest quality long-range voyage you will find. From our premium RSW fish storage to our top-of-the-line chefs and crew, Royal Star distinguishes itself from all others. Want to grab a spot on the Royal Star? Check us out at RoyalStarSportFishing.com or call Tracy at 619-224-4764.
For your next fishing adventure, check Point Loma Sport Fishing. They offer half-day trips on the Daily Double and full-day trips on the Mission Bell every day. Perfect for novice or seasoned fishermen. Point Loma Sport Fishing also offers overnight to multi-day trips on the American Angler, Vagabond, Intrepid, Independence, Loan, T-Bird, Game Changer, and more. Visit PointLomaSportFishing.com where you can purchase tickets online. Want to go fishing? Point Loma Sport Fishing has you covered.
All right, welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Matt's going to have the honors there. Flipping the coin.
Flipping the coin. This guy's going fishing with you on the San Diego. We have a texter.
Happens to be Dan and Pomona. Congratulations, Dan.
Dan, nice going.
See you soon, Dan.
Boys, cannot begin to say enough about you. A big thanks about you taking the time and sharing so much killer info with us. Not even close to scratching the surface on everything that you guys do with Captain's Concepts. But again, give us the rundown. If you were sitting here listening for 2 hours on what I think is the best info available and want to keep up with what you guys do all throughout the year, give us the rundown again on how we do it.
Easiest way to find us, just Google Captain's Concepts. You can get to us from there. It'll take you straight to our Patreon page. Also Instagram, we have an Instagram account, Captain's Concepts. There's a link in our bio there to get to our website as well. But easiest way to find us, just Google Captain's Concepts and you'll get us right there, first one.
Dude, I'm fired up, man.
Great.
I want to join up.
It's totally worth doing it. It's videos all the time on the stuff that you want to know, and it will make you a better fisherman, period. And we'll keep it up. You guys are doing an awesome job, and we'll look forward to fishing, Bralla, with you on the San Diego, and you, Gavin, on the Queen. When there's a rare opportunity that there's a space to come fishing with you, we'll look forward to it. And like I said, we get that info all year long, and really appreciate you guys. Thanks very much, and keep up the awesome work.
All right, thank you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Hey, we appreciate you out there. Next Saturday, next Sunday, we've got a couple of great shows coming for you. Next Saturday, Brian Wynn, speed jig fishing expert, speaking of vertical jig fishing. And the next Sunday, Captain Ryan Botchin of the San Diego. A couple of great shows and a lot of great info coming your way. You stay tuned. It's Southern California's sport fishing voice. Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app and the Mightier 1090 ESPN Radio. We'll see you next week.